Welcome to the Daily BA. My name is Ryan O, and today a little bit of a rant. All right, millennials, also known as Generation Y, after Generation X, and there isn't quite an agreed upon start date, end date for these folks, but it's typically around 1980-ish up to the 2000s. This is the age range in which is typically agreed upon of the birth years of millennials and folks like myself. Now, I'd like to do two things today in this rant, and that is share some perspective for employers as well as share some of my own perspectives and maybe empathize and relate to other people that are millennials themselves. And to do this, we're going to use the framework of two common myths and try to dispel those while doing this as well. So here we go. All right, so the first one, this, like, what? Like, do you see my eyes? Like, there's enough time for everything that I want to be working on and achieving? The fact is, we are not married to the 9-to-5 schedule or whatever that shift work is. Things shift over time culturally, and it's much more about the efficiency and the productivity than it is about the specific amount of time that you're putting in on something. And the argument is that there's much more of an emphasis on work-life balance. The mindset has shifted from I will work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, no matter what, to I will get everything you need done on time, and on a schedule that works for me. Now, that it brings up selfishness. I'm gonna hit that soon, so hold on. Now, we know as behavior analysts, we need the right conditions to be able to motivate people to engage in certain behavioral patterns. That's simple. And the point here is it's not based on some sort of time schedule. Simply put. Now, this isn't a typical one-size-fits-all. Not every organization, every role and such can fit these sort of things, but I'm just asking that it is considered very, very closely when it comes to defining, creating roles, and reviewing those roles as to whether or not these sort of arbitrary decisions need to be in place or not. That's it. Now, what's cool is this sort of tendency fits very well in a lot of our typical roles and schedules that we have as behavior analysts working in home in various different sessions and such. So if you're someone that's in a position where you're creating these positions or you're creating a company or whatnot, there's a lot of different options out there. One thing that I've frequently ran into a lot is there's more business options, more employment options than just the typical employee framework. There's just about anything you can possibly think of when it comes to a contract position. There's joint venture agreements. It's not just that typical framework. And if they fit our needs and your needs better at the end of the day, why are we not employing these sort of things? Drives me nuts sometimes. Now, the second myth, right here, millennials are selfish. Okay, let's dive into it. Now, entitlement comes up here, and I feel like you're probably thinking like, man, he's really walking this line really carefully. Let's see if he stumbles so I can tear him up in the comments. So let's go. The first thing is know that this is not central to our generation alone. That makes absolutely no sense that some sort of arbitrary thing such as the year in which you were born across this 30-year gap has to do with whether or not you're selfish. And like it or not, the time is now to bet on us, to work with us, to leverage these sort of things in the best interest of everybody out there. Use these tendencies of our culture on an individual level. Now, the other thing with this is I would say just like scroll through your social media feed, listen to something that's going on around you when you're out in public. It is not just selfishness centralized into this demographic. You can hear this across any age range if you're looking closely enough for it. Now, the one that hit me and kind of triggered this a lot is that no matter how much it is that people try to soften their language, hearing this sort of thing really hits people, like really hits people. And it's just extremely off-putting no matter how it's heard, at least from my perspective. Now, money allows us to pay the bills just like anybody else, but what gets us out of the morning and what really drives the majority of us is knowing that we're making a difference in the world. We're actually making a noticeable, measurable difference in the world, and we're using our science when it comes to actually how we go about trying to do that. I feel like oftentimes we forget to utilize the science that we love so much in our own practice. So this is kind of just a call or a state check on like, are you using that? Now, another thing is that we have just so much around us nowadays. The accessibility of things are clearly much more abundant than they have been in the past. And I don't know if this is good or bad at the end of the day. Obviously, there's all this competing for attention, and like the recent announcements of folks like Facebook saying how this could actually be affecting negatively on our public health and our mental health is alarming is alarming at best. But it also brings up the fact that we know that these success stories are out there, and the craziest of things, such as like making a living off of making videos or traveling the world or whatever it is that you want to find out there, is possible. It might be very, very, very improbable that everybody could be doing that, or that you or I could be doing that, but it is possible. Now there's also some interesting data. Here's one and two different samples of just how generous and unselfish this category of people, including myself, are, at least according to the numbers. Now I get that these are gross generalizations that I'm talking about, but it shows us the one of the major things that our field is really, really about, and that is that there is not a one-size-fits-all approach. And I think you can leverage this in two ways. First of all, employers, ask your staff where they are at on these sort of things. Are they happy? Are there any suggestions that they have? Include those sort of things. Now, one good best practice that I've learned from HR professionals around me is only ask if you're actually going to do something about it. And I get that it sounds crazy, but these sort of things of like how our day is structured can seem very restricting at the end of the day. And I would argue it actually conflicts with some of our values and our aspirations in life. Now, on the other side, millennial employees, we need to know our reinforcers. We need to know what it is that's getting us out of bed at the end of the day. We need to analyze these sort of things. We need to bring our employers onto these in a proactive sort of way. And we can't just expect anyone to understand these sort of things. It is just as much our behavior meeting halfway. And if things are shifting, I don't expect things to move very quickly. Organizational change and these sort of things take a long time. So I'm just asking, do your part. I just think we should be a part of or leading that change ourselves. Now, one thing, I get that there's a lot of bigger problems in the world. This channel is exploring a lot of different things, so make sure you explore, check it out. I'm gonna link the playlist here. Just know that this one's been personally weighing on me for a little bit, and part of this channel is just a way to kind of share where I'm at, get other people's perspectives, and see where these sort of things go. Now, it's also been just on my thought process lately, because I've had some different companies reach out just asking me what my thoughts are when it comes to attracting and retaining talent, when it comes to millennials, or just behavior analysts in general. If you're one of those, hit me up. I'd love to talk. Here's the best way. Now, I've linked my good friend Brittany's blog. She wrote something up that's very similar. We talk about these things a lot, so it's linked below. Check it out, as well as the two data sources that I linked that are also down here. If there's anything that you guys have, thoughts, stories, whatever, please share them below. I don't really know where this is gonna go. It's just something that has been just weighing on me with my personal experiences in life right now, so I just want to kind of vent, throw these things out there, see where it goes. That said, do me a favor, hit that like button. It actually makes a huge difference. If you're not already, subscribe below, and I'll see you in the next one, all right? That is your Daily BA.